Hello everyone, I'm Nandini Prakash, your biology teacher. This is the first online class of your biology in this winter session. Today we are going to know about a very important topic, a new topic which is cell. Cell is very important for the starting of your biology. Okay, so it is called the fundamental unit of life. Do you know why the fundamental unit of life? Because our life started, every function which are performed by us, which are performed by our body, is performed by a single cell. That means cell is the fundamental and structural unit of our life. It performs every function which our body performs, and it provides structure to our body. It is self-replicating structure. That means every cell, every new cell arises from the pre-existing cell. Every new cell comes from the pre-existing cell. That means हर एक जो नया सेल है वो एक पुराने सेल से ही आएगा by the process of cell division. The first cell was observed by a scientist whose name is Robert Hooke in 1665 from the slice of cork. Robert Hooke was the first scientist who observed a cell under a simple microscope. That cell was a plant cell and that cell was a dead cell. He only observed the outer structure of the cell. Here you can see this is a plant cell which is made by you. This is the external structure of the plant cell which was observed by the Robert Hooke, and that cell looks like a room. Every cells look like a room in the simple microscope. Now, some organisms consist of unicellular, while that means they are made up of single cell, while the another organisms are called as multicellular. That means those organisms are made from the many cells. Every cells have the different diameter that varies from 2 micrometer to 120 micrometer. The shape and size of the every cell vary from each other. After this, the another scientist whose name is Antony von Leeuwenhoek, who discovered a living cell in 1674 under the compound microscope. He also observed the different organelles which is present inside the cell. Just like inside, we all know that inside our body different organs are present which perform different function. Just like our organ, cell also contain different organelles which perform the different function inside the cell, like respiration, like digestion, like excretion of waste, etc., etc. We are going to know about them later. First, just say this. Then two scientists whose name is Matthias Sachender and Theodor Schwann in 1839 proposed the cell theory. According to this cell theory, all the living things are made up of cell. That could be anything, the human being, plant, animal, or the microorganism. Every living organism are made from cell, either a single cell or the many cells. That means we know about this, that the organisms which are made from the single cell are known as unicellular organisms, and the organisms which are made from many cells are called multicellular organisms. He also tells the cell are the smallest working unit of all the living things. That means it is the smallest part of our body which is functional, which perform different functions. And the third one, all the cells come from the pre-existing cells. That means every new cells come from the pre-existing cell by the process of cell division. So this is the cell theory which is proposed by the Theodor Schwann in 1839. Now, we are going to know about the different organelles which is present inside the cell and what are their functions. Just see. This is the structure of an animal cell. This is the structure of an animal cell. Here we are going to see the outermost part. The outermost part of the living cell, the outermost part of the animal cell is called as cell membrane, which bound the cell, which surround the cell. It provides a protection to the cell so that their organelles live safely. It is made up of double layer and of fatty material. The outermost layer and the innermost layer. It is made from two layers, double layers and fatty materials. It allows some materials to passes into them. That means it is semi-permeable. It only gives permission to enter some material, just like the food, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen. It allows food to enter inside the cell, oxygen to enter inside the cell, water to enter inside the cell, and it removes waste product like carbon dioxide, toxic substances and excess water from the cell. The second most important part is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is jelly-like structure. It is the fluid which fills the complete cell. It also keeps all the organelles at their place, and it is present between the cell membrane and the nucleus, where all the organelles are found. The third one is lysosome. Lysosome, where the digestion of cell and nutrition take place. Lysosome is the place where food get digested. Here in this place, the food get digested. Lysosome are also called as the digestive system of the cell. Now the next one is endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum are of two types, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The smooth and rough tubes that moves to store material made by the cell. It always moves the material which is made by the cell to the nucleus. That means we can say that endoplasmic reticulum connect the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Now the DNA. DNA is present in the middle of the nucleus and it contains coded information that passes on every single inheritance characteristic. That means the inheritance characteristic which come from our parents are carried by the DNA. For example, just like your height is too long, that comes from your parents. Either your mother or your father are too long, that's why you look too long. And our color, some diseases are also carried by the DNA, just like diabetes, eyesight, etc. Now the nucleus. This is the control center of the cell. We can also say that nucleus is the brain of the cell. Just like our brain control all the activity of our body, the nucleus control all the activities which is carried out inside the cell. Now the mitochondria. Mitochondria produces, this is mitochondria, and it is also called as the energy house of the cell. It produces energy for cell to use by breaking down of substances during oxidative metabolism. This mitochondria break down the food and releases energy. It also store the energy for the further activities. Now this is the Golgi complex. It collects the package and distribute molecules made in the cell. It collects every package which enter inside the cell and then it distributed those packets to the different organelles of the cell. Now the ribosome. These are the teeny protein productive factory. Ribosome are also known as the protein factory. That means it make the protein, it produce the protein, and it also transmit the chemical messages run in a cell. It also transmit the chemical messages to the different organelles of the cell. Now the vacuole, that means the vacant place. Vacuole, that means the vacant place in which the food gets stored and the waste product gets stored. It is the area where the fats and other substances get stored. Food, fat, waste product, water, etc., etc. Now this is the centriole. Centriole is the teeny organs that helps in the cell division. This is the main organ of this is the main organelles of the cell division. It helps the cell to divide from one cell to two. Now the major structure which is present inside the cell is cell membrane, cytoplasm and its organelles, and the nucleus. We already know about the cell membrane. That means the outermost membrane which surround the cell and which provide a protection to the organelles so that organelles can live safely. Now the cytoplasm, that means the fluid-like structure, a jelly-like structure which hold all the organelles at their place. And the last one is nucleus. That means the control center of the cell. That means the brain of the cell who control every activities which is carried out inside the cell. Now, cell membrane. It is thin, pliable, elastic and the outermost. It is very thin. Pliable, that means the semi-permeable, elastic and the outermost structure which envelop the cell. It consists of bilipid layer with embedded protein that are integral protein and peripheral protein. This is the structure of the cell membrane. This is the outermost and this is the innermost. I told you about this, that cell membrane is double membrane. It's surrounded by the double membrane. Its function, it digests, it takes the food and excrete the waste product. It takes the food inside the cell and excrete the waste product inside the cell from the outside the cell. It is selective permeable. That means it only allows the movement of some substances, that is food, waste product, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water, etc. It also acts as a dielectric material of a charge condensed. Thus the cell membrane are very high insulating value. Every cell membrane have a very high insulating value. Now the cytoplasm and its organelles. What is cytoplasm? So it is a gel-like. I told you about this earlier. It is a thick and gel-like semi-transparent fluid that is found in both plants and animals. Cell membrane is also present in both plants and animal cell. The cytoplasm is also present in both plant cell and as well as in animal cell. Its constituent parts of the cytoplasm are cytosol, cell organelles, cytoplasmic inclusions. Now it is bounded by the plasma membrane and contains many organelles in a eukaryotic cell. Membrane bounded nucleus. That means in eukaryotic cell, that means the cell which nucleus is membrane bounded. Now the cytosol. The cytosols are the aqueous part, that means the fluid part of the cytoplasm. Outside, all of the organelles also contain its own distinct protein. It accounts for almost 70% of the total volume. That means it acquires the 70% of the total volume of the cell. Gelatinous substances consisting mainly of the cytoskeleton filament, organic molecules, salt and water. Chemically, the cytoplasmic matrix is composed of many chemical elements in the form of atoms, ions and molecules.